Welcome back. Today we're going to be adding some bling to the rear suspension setup of the Civic. I've got some Blocks spherical rear trailing arm bushers, and then we've got some hard race goodness supplied by CP Performance to fix up all the rear suspension. Currently the rear suspension setup is basic to say the least. We've got bone stock rear toe control arms, bone stock rear trailing arm bushers, and bone stock rear camber control arms. So the aim of the game today, we're going to pull all of this off and replace it with upgraded stuff and hopefully have a really solid setup. So obviously we're going to start by taking the wheels off. Not that one. Not that one. That was slick. Ooh. Here's something I wasn't expecting to see. I forgot that when Josh was welding in the roll cage, he welded in some big floor plates in the back here. So we've got a big section that needs to be cleaned up, primed and painted there. So we'll make sure we do that too. Great success. So now we've got both these rear trailing arms on the floor. You can see we've got some pretty crusty stuff that we're changing out. It's not very nice. We've got these rear trailing arm bushers. You can see they're pretty wiggly, even with just a little bit of pressure on them. And it turns out one of the camber arms was a little bit loose. Don't tell Josh. I definitely don't tell Kev because I should have paint marked it. But we'll get all this changed out and see how they look when they're freshened up. Yikes. Alright, so here's the challenging bit. I don't have a press, so there's only one way these are coming out. Say hello to my little friend. So I've got everything on the bench here to have a look. We've got the old arms and bushings, and then the new stuff is here. You can see a bit of an upgrade. These trailing arm ones, I'm pretty sure it just goes like this and then bolts in. But it does feel like it needs pressing in. So that'll be interesting with my lack of press. We'll see, maybe it fits better from the other direction. I've established that the reverse of the removal does not work. I think they've definitely got to be pressed in. Can get it some of the way in. It kind of sits in, but I think it just needs a press to do it properly. Well, that stops play a little bit because I was hoping to get those all done and dusted and bolted back up tonight. So instead of that, let's give these inner wheel arches a good clean out and get it all sealed up where Josh has been welding in the cage plates. And now we MIMS prep. So that's the rear wheel arches all cleaned out and sealed up. There was a little area up here that had made contact with the tyre, so I'll get a bit of sealant on that. I'll get these all painted up when this is dry, and then we should be able to get the suspension put back on. Well, since we can't get on with the rear suspension, we may as well start cleaning up some of the actual suspension struts, and these have been on the car for probably 4 or 5 years. It's not seen a lot of use in that time, but they are in need of a good clean up. That's about as much of that as I can be arsed with. They look a bit better. These are just the basic entry level yellow speed coilovers. I have got some weightier springs in there just to make the car feel a little bit better. Oh, hang on a minute, got this massive fucking vise. I reckon I can press in some bushes with these. I reckon this is going to go wide enough to get the control arm in. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, easy. Right, some slight damage sustained, but nothing that will stop it from working good. Okay, job done. The next job is to drill some holes in here. Right, well now that that's done, we can return to scheduled programming. So we've got some little retaining screws to put in these to stop them coming out because they went in so easily. Don't want them to accidentally fall out. Top tip: apply anti-seize to your arms before you fit them. Been hit with seized arms before and it's never ever good fun. So that pretty much concludes the rear trailing arm overhaul. Now I've just got to try and get them back on. They're heavy bastards. Out with the old, in with the new. Guess you could say that was pretty well overdue. That's us just about finished up on the rear suspension. Everything's bolted up loosely. We need to get an alignment in, which I'll probably call on Dan to bring all this stuff down, and we'll do that before we take the car out on the road. But everything's looking pretty good. We've got all the adjustable arms in, spherical bushes, adjustable toe, cleaned up inner arches, all seam sealed up. Mission accomplished. Onto the front suspension next time.